Hello, everyone. So today we are not we are. I am in the more in the positional mood and want to talk more about positional play. But this position probably will be about calculation. But what do I mean? Sometimes even if it's about calculation, you can find positional approach to solve puzzle. And um, we also use scanning techniques to scan the positional factors in the position. More, if we focus more on the positional play, we need to evaluate first killing safety. I hope all of you know about that, and not only where kill is, where it also can be. So we need to notice this file. It still can this rank we still can escape, also can move to the pawn, also can move to g4 square in some cases. So it's quite safe already, and but still have squares to run. Yeah. And defending pieces if needs. So everything is quite safe and good for white king. But notice here is of course this diagonal, this and this all the ways to the king we notice. Yes, and also all the ways to improve king position if needed. In some cases we also notice, or if you see diagonal, you also see automatically interferences on the diagonal. We just now scanning. If we want to just solve puzzle, we can do it quicker, but I want you to understand that the factors. So the king is relatively safe. Needs to pay attention to this idea, of course, also, as I mentioned, this file. All the lists we must check. Yes, possible and impossible. What else? Yeah, the black skin we need to check. So to attack 3 defenses to d7 square. It's unsafe if it can run. It can run to e87, but there is a fork and there is also queen. It's unpleasant situation. It can still feel safe here. G8 square. It's still unpleasant situation. It's still in some troubles, not protected. 8 rank, this diagonal, and this file, and probably this file, some ideas, and force jumps to this 6 f6 c5 f6 check double jumps to pressure d7, and so the king. Then we need to ask where does king want to be, and if h8 this problem, if h7 this diagonal, one diagonal with the rook, by the way. If h8, we check h6, g8, knight f6. So it's very hard to find the position for black skin. So based on that, we can evaluate. This position is quite unpleasant for black, especially we have combination of the queen and rook, which is very powerful, as you know, probably, and queen and knight. I mean, not queen and rook. And at here rook is even more powerful. And so the black skin is not safe. White is completely safe. It's very easy. If you can go to this position, you should go, because of king safety is the main factor. So next we evaluate pieces, where pieces are and where pieces want to be, like the queen. The queen is absolutely dominate the position, absolutely centralized, and it's attacking everything. So, but probably it can be on a shade, some on these squares attacking the 6 is weak square, and there are so many weaknesses in black's positions, like 8 rank, and also this rook is hanging, and tactical weaknesses. This pawn is hanging, this square is weak, this pawn is potentially weakness. This is obviously weakness, yeah. But he's overprotecting it. We need more weaknesses. This pawn, I noticed this weak. And in some cases, even this rook and the queen can be hanging. Like potentially, this rook can be tactical weakness if we bring the knight, and there is this one, yes, and if he takes with the king this one, like he kind of takes with probably with the queen rook f4 with the king rook g7, maybe something like that. So this is where pieces are and where pieces want to be. The queen is nicely centralized and poised and dominate all the position. Black's king is definitely when you see queen like this, you want to exchange it. Yes, like you want to trade queens, and especially if a material advantage. But of course, you don't want this queen to dominate so much whenever you can. Where else? You can see h1 square, h5, some attacking ideas. Always check attacking ideas first. Something like that, but it's most likely white will create threats and black will respond to with some defensive tricks, like maybe being here or something else, but need to check possibilities for the queen. Rooks. This rook is quite a good defender. It's protecting the king and critical squares around. Can also defend 7th rank, can defend 8th rank. It's also it's nice defender. This rook is not really good. It's not attacking and not defending anything. Yeah, it's attacking h1, but it's not a big deal. And this rook is also hanging, and we want to pin to employ this rook somehow, but the problem is there will be this rook still hangs it this way. Not a clear way to coordinate this rook with another rook or queen, which means this rook is really a poor piece in this game. Most likely. Okay, so white's rook is more interesting. Is attacking g7, but when something defended, yes, like I told you, when you see the rooks in the previous videos, you see two warriors with the swords and attacking from all different sides and interfere each other. And imagine when a warrior attack and someone block, yes, attack, and then of course what warrior does? Attack from another side immediately. So this simple comparison can make you master of the rook very easily, because now see it's attacking g7, but g7 is protected, and you see how can you attack with your rook. Like simply, by the way, you simply can see all the ways through the pawns, like I taught you. See rook even on f4, like this, you automatically see d4 square, which can be just killing because rook can attack weak 8th rank, and also see maybe this way, and something impossible like rook g7, rook g5. You also can check it. Rook g3, rook f3, maybe rook f4 is quite obvious idea, but I don't think it's good. At least with my feelings. So we check the rook, and you check all the lines possible, like this, and whatever you can. The most impossible ways. Yes, if you see rook on the a4 square, you see rook basically everywhere. But check all the ways to attack there, especially the king from the different sides. Like in this case, obviously you want to be able to attack from this side and from this side, and never miss opportunities to attack from this side. So like rook g6, notice short side, because this one is quite easily, yeah, but brain doesn't see because it's long side, and brain doesn't see sometimes attack from the short side like this. Okay. The knight is just a beast, and C double just jumps and double jumps, and this way is retreating moves also check, because many times we miss retreating moves as attacking or defensive trick. So with the knight, just train yourself to see retreating moves, and also see yourself to see the knight on the 8th rank, or even on the corner, because we often miss, because it's rare. Yes, we often miss interferences on the 8th rank with the knight. So see these ideas to cover 1st rank and cover 8th rank, and if you check it several times, most likely you won't miss it anymore. But initially your brain won't see the knight on these squares. This is important to understand the weakness of your brain to fix it. If you know the weakness of your brain, if you know clearly, we usually don't see knight on e8 in these positions, or knight on f1 in these positions, because a knight is rarely jumping to the knight on the rim is dim, yes, on the corner. So you won't miss it if you know you will miss it. I hope it's clear. Okay, the knight has some great potential, great piece. So we checked the queen, the rook, and the knight. The king we checked, and it's also nice to check pawns. Always check any pawn breaks in the position, by the way. Always check any pawn breaks in the position. It's in any position till you do it absolutely automatically, because positionally and tactically pawn breaks are essence of chess. And if you don't check pawn breaks, I mean, you make your life very, very complex. And it's very simple. You see the position, check the pawn breaks. Hello. It's very, very powerful pattern. I remember like in childhood we learned something like Carlsbad structure, and I was amazed when I later, when I started to understand things, I was amazed by stupidity, yes, of this example, because I know it's Carlsbad structure is cool example, but cool example of what? Cool example of pawn break. It's basically just pawn break. What is Carlsbad structure? Pretty damn cool example of the pawn break. And I noticed for myself, yes, I knew Carlsbad structure, but I didn't check all the pawn breaks in the position. And this is madness, by the way. This is absolutely madness. We shouldn't learn chess like this. It's very clear it's pawn break, and you need to check pawn breaks all the time in any position, till it will become absolutely automatic second nature. Okay. And yeah, it's not. I mean, now it seems for you like total nonsense. Check all of that. Yes, why you should spend time, but at very least you train yourself to do it, and you understand in many positions, like also from the black side, you understand. You will see your chess just insanely better if you just understand this little trick to check pawn breaks all the time. Okay. So, and probably positional. We first king safety, then we evaluate pieces activities, we calculate materials. It's very, very, very basic things. Now, 2 extra pawn and exchange. But the knight case in this situation is stronger than the rook, because knight is better when attack the king, and it has many squares available. Yeah. And what else? Then other factors, which is very, very important. We need to see factors which we can miss. Some obvious factors like e6 is weak, g7 is weak, a6 is weak, like tactical. b1 is tactical weakness, positional e6, a6 weaknesses, g6 is weak square, e5 is weak square. and something like I mean, for I would notice, yes, also like it's tactical, but it's also positional. Like eighth rank is square, weak G7 is weak, and queen can be like queen is always tactical weakness. I mean, if you think about it, rook can attack, knight can attack, we always can create threats, so queen is always tactical weakness. Rooks also can be tactical weaknesses. King is tactical weakness. Notice this diagonal, notice this, notice this. Yeah. And probably now we need to think about candidates' moves ideas. You should always try to see something new positional concepts. So, here we just I want to do it very simple and relaxed. So the candidates move, the most forcing moves are 95, 96. Of course, kind of rook g7 if we traditional calculate candidate moves, but it doesn't make much sense. 95, by the way, prevents queen c7 also, and prepares rook d4, because after 96 the drawback is I cannot bring the rook, but we need to calculate for first forcing line, like 96, queen c7, knight f7, and if we take with here rook g7, if or c7, queen c7, or if takes here, there is rook f4. So it's basically here, like queen c7, he has probably another candidate move, so queen d5 here, queen c7. And after knight f7, his idea is should be takes, and these two pawns against the knight. Is it winning or not? It's very difficult to evaluate. Very hard to judge this position. Does he has stronger defensive trick? Like, can we refute this idea faster? Refute. This is not what I want to do, evaluate this in the game. Like when d5, there's multiple possibilities, but takes. It cannot be solution, and rook b3, rook b3 here. Yeah. Very dangerous position. And also c3, c2. Very, very unclear. Yeah. And if a4, maybe c3, maybe c2 already. Rook c4 then. Yeah. Yes, or AB, but I have two pawns. Okay, it's possible. It's possible, but can we win simple with knight c5 without moving to risky endgame? What are his defensive ideas? Queen c7 cannot play. d7 is 7 is bad. Here is more tactical weaknesses. a7, here is more tactical weakness. 596, yeah. Knight c5 is also a very good move, and if he plays, let's say queen, so a7 e7, c8 a8, c6 also. The idea of a8 cover back rank, but g7 weak, like 96 with g7 just over, so he has to keep his eye on this square, so we can eliminate moves quicker. Is queen a7 or queen a7. It's creates here, it's attacking here somehow. But now this one is weak, so there is possibility to play rook d4. And she cannot defend it with the rook. King g8 maybe. But then rook d8, rook f8, and it seems very risky, but rook d7 just winning. Then b8, am I sure? Yeah, rook d7. Okay, it's winning. So it seems like knight c5 is winning. What's his defensive trick with knight c5? and rook d4. Maybe queen e7 to defend d4 square. But then his pieces are somehow bad. Like check here, 28, 96, 27. It's very, very risky position. Also, queen 7, before queen e5, all of that moves are just horrible, horrible, horrible for black. Like it's a very tough position to play. Like king b8 and 96, king has to go out, and I feel like everything is winning. 25, winning, and this king cannot find a way out. Like king d7, king d7 would be fucking set. Wait, is it winning? Ah, king d7 with c7. Ah, then we come back to the same. But I mean, there is queen c7, king d6, before, yeah. d5. Huh. Well, this is interesting. 27, 28, 27. Am I winning? 25, 27. It seems like absolutely winning. d5, a8, d4, d7 back. Wow. And hold it? Like d8 is not winning. I mean, I feel it has to be winning in 20 ways. So we need to choose objectively. We may have more candidates moves, but I believe knight c5 is just winning here. Yeah, with idea rook d4, because I mean, positionally speaking, it's just we still have b1 as hanging a piece. We bring pieces closer and we attack from different sides. We have more possibilities. Position, and I wanted to solve this puzzle positionally without calculation. Let's play knight c5, and he phones rook q1, which is weird because I can take and take, and it's just horrible. Also, he has weakness on the 8th rank. I mean, what's his idea after 96? Yeah. King g8, 21. He wants to argue it's okay, like, yeah. This one has to be winning. Like, king g8 would be 17, but 4, 5, g6, also 25, also dominates position. Also, many possibilities. Seems rare enough to me. Another possibility, of course, 26, but then we must calculate 27, 27. Queen d8, rook d8, rook f4, queen f7, rook f4 is winning. So king g8. King g8, maybe king g8 is okay in this case. I don't. Knight b7. Wait. What am I smoking? Queen d6, queen e7. Only move. Queen b8, queen e8 only move. 96 rook takes 6 now. Is defended to that's it, his idea. I can play knight g7, but then king g8, queen e8, queen b8, king g7. Am I winning here? Not that clear. Not that clear. It's quite decent position to 5 with f8 also. Yeah, it's not that clear. 26, 27, b8, b8. 96 is not winning anymore. Knight d7, king g8. Right, the 6 doesn't work, yeah. I mean, actually, I mean, it's simple. It seems like we have extra piece, yes, and his idea to push the pawn, yes, and then, yeah, this is not that powerful. Okay, his idea is only can be push the pawn. So put the queen here, but then g7 we cannot put queen on c7. Can put c8, g7 also we can queen in 5 with g7. And he cannot put queen behind the pawn, but he also cannot put rook behind the pawn because we simply take. How is it not losing after 96 queen 1? Rook e7, I can play a 4-5, let's say. Oh, I can play rook e4, I can play queen e5. I think everything is winning. Okay, okay, let's computer to trick us. If I'm wrong, I want to relax today. Okay, and quickly check, do we have something better than that? A queen 1. And it's just, it's quite strange puzzle, especially if we, I think, I mean, yeah, especially maybe it's difficult puzzle because of scanning and people don't see rook d4. As I because basically nearly no one applies scanning, and people think in terms of candidates most ideas. Many of these puzzles are becoming too easy when you understand things, because I mean, for the people, the problem people may don't see tactical weakness on 8th rank, and they can overcalculate something. Yeah, and this one, mm, d6, it's actually better for this game. I'm curious about it. Oh, just c3. What did I think? How did they calculate? Okay, fortunately I took positional decision, but I mean c3, c2, what nothing to calculate here. Yeah. And I didn't think rook one is the strongest. I mean, it's just hopeless. But what queen is 7? But everything is hopeless, yeah. Yeah, this position I thought is just winning, and the clearest win here, 25, I saw it. Oh, 27 can survive squeezing out of this. It's nice. This one I kind of saw, and what is the final idea? Now no king d5, king f5 he can play, but then king d5 attack. Okay, it's not that important. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and wait the variation when we actually play 24. Yeah, wait the variation. 27 would be 4, yeah. Yeah. And here is tactical weakness. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you could enjoy it, and yeah, if you did not subscribe, smash the subscribe button below. And also I want to add QTA and my offer, because I need to sell myself to become a top seller, the best seller in the world. So my current price is $30 per hour for chess coaching, and from the September it will become $50 per hour. I also want to create community where people, mastermind community where people train together. Easy to find sparring partners. I keep recording videos and share my best insights, and we can grow much faster, because when we have community within which we share our best ideas, our best training positions, our best training materials, we share our insights, we share our discoveries. I mean, I can do alone quite a lot, but when we combine many minds together, it's much more powerful. So if you want to join this insanely beneficial, crazy good, and unbelievable, unstoppable community, feel free to reach me out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sok Sabai from Cambodia.